I want to talk about Santi heating vest. This one. I've tried it for maybe 2 or 3 times, but I already feel that it has very good advantage to have some heating, because of usually when I started I had like 200 milligram Thinsulate and I was freezing winter after winter. And the summer was okay, but the winter it was really cold. 200 is way too little. That is a summer kind of undergarment. I try to keep it, I wouldn't say cost efficient, that's a total lie. I try to keep it cheap, but all these cheap solutions made it expensive. So I tried with a 200 milligram and a thicker kind of layer under, or an electrical vest with a battery inside the dry suit, not outside. So I couldn't turn it off and on, and so if it took long time, for instance, I remember for one particular time when we were in Alvik. It's pretty central, so it's hard to find parking. So we all was geared up, and I pressed the button, put on the battery, and on with the dry suit. And he said, "I'll be right back." It took 20 minutes to find the parking spot and get back. So there I was sweating, I was so warm. So when I was getting into the cold water, that wasn't really a good idea. Because then after a while you start to get a little bit cold and you feel the sweat and all that. So you want to be able to control it. And you need one of these. Maybe not 24 ampere hours. You can have a smaller, but this is rugged. It's good. And also it has several options. One option, 2 option, shut off. It's what we call ammonite that done this. I thought about, should I buy a santi or an ammonite? And this is one of the reasons I choose ammonite, was because of they had several steps. So they want like since it's two different, it's like high or low, I suppose you can call it. So usually I go with a high, but after a while it's like, okay, this is getting warm, so I put it on low. So sometimes it's like that even in winter. So let me explain the first experience I had with it. First experience was actually this one. I cut it off because of this has the right dimension for my body. It was comfortable. You have on the side here 2 elasticated straps. You can get it like a snug, good, tight, But this was in between the legs, the crotch, and that gave me like a crotch camel toe. I don't know if this was built for eunuchs or something, or if they used a woman, or if they used a dummy or something to measure this, because this was really uncomfortable in my crotch area. And this one also, against certain of these materials, is gonna, it's gonna destroy the whole vest, gonna look rather bad, because this what do you call it, Velcro, is not really good for the rest of the material. So it's better if you maybe do like this, if it doesn't fit you. If it does fit you, it's not a problem. And another thing, the second time I didn't use this, then I just let it hang, but then I got this against my ass, scratching it. It wasn't pleasant. So now, fuck this. So besides that, I love it. When I went down there for the first time, I thought it was leaking, because I was so cold in the legs and arms in contrast to my torso. But the torso was warm because of the vest, so I felt like, whatever, leaking or no leaking, let's go, But when I get back and took off my dry suit, it was dry. It was like, oh, it was just that big of a difference of the core temperature of the torso, which had this electrical heating vest, and the arms that just had this 500. No, I mean not 500, 400. I think. I'm not sure about this because they don't use Finsellet as their measurement. So this is a bit, approximately 400. Uh, I have this fourth element Halo HD, and that's really really nice. Usually, I haven't had any problems with it, but sometimes you're just getting a little bit cold when you've been down like 40, 50 minutes, and that's a long time. Or sometimes I've been longer than an hour, and it's okay. Even sometimes when I have a little leakage and been a little bit wet, and then go up, adjust, and go down again, and been half wet, but still can be down for a really long time. So the Halo uh, under the garment is super good. I have no problem with it, but you do eventually get cold, and this one really made me warm. So besides that, cross strap was uncomfortable, but it also made it hard because it kept me down. Because if I cut that off, I can reach my valves better. But with that one being a little bit tight, I couldn't reach. So I think that that little adjustment, you just take a scissor and cut it. It made it way better for me. But some people might have a better dimension for that one. So, but anyway, so the first time it kept me so warm here, and I really noticed like the difference from here to here, and I was like, where have this been all my life? Okay, this a thermal valve to have this into the dry suit, and the dry suit have an inner connector to the suit. Together, 15-20,000 Swedish crowns. That's like 150 or $200, I suppose. Well, something like that in rough estimates. So of course it's expensive. It is. So that's why I probably haven't bought it. But no, but now you really feel it, like it's worth it. It's worth and every fucking penny. And the thing is, the second time we did this course, this intro to cave course, we were doing line drills, but we didn't enter the water. We just did it at land in the first time, and we had like 2-3 hours where we just did drilling, standing still, talking, had a little bit of theory and Q&A and all that. But it was super cold, super windy, and we were so frozen. So we were like, and we all thought like we should take a dive afterward, but we was like, fuck it. It wasn't scheduled as a course, so we felt like whatever. That dive was just, outside anyway. So our instructor went home. He was freezing. We two students went into a restaurant. We felt like, okay, if we eat, maybe we're getting the body heat temperature back. But we were still like totally frozen, like chilled to that extent that you can't get warm without some big effort. It wasn't enough with the food. Then we're like, coffee? Okay, let's take a coffee. Warm coffee, food, warm food, and still I'm freezing. I'm almost like shaking a little bit, like this is cold. I was like, should we go tomorrow instead? When we get a better start off, I was like, let's go down. I was like, okay, but when you go down, diving already cold, it's not getting better. But I didn't have an electric vest at that time when I had that previous experience of going down cold. Going down cold with a heated undergarment, that's a different thing. So we went down. We probably was there for about an hour or maybe more. And I was freezing when I was getting down there. And I put on the highest, and after a while it get warm, and when I get back up I wasn't freezing. So I was defrosting underwater, even though I was diving 1 hour with wet gloves, but not 5-finger. I had with 3 fingers here, 1 finger open, one and the thumb open. So I had like those kind of wet suit gloves, but it was still wetsuit gloves, so my hand was covered in water. That was pretty cold, but still that kept me warm. So that was like, oh holy fuck, this defrost you underwater, not just keep you warm. They defrost you. I usually, okay, if I do a tech dive, I don't do this, but if I do a regular sport dive at winter and I'm being cold, I lay down in a warm bath after a few hours being passed by packing, unpacking, cleaning, driving. So then I feel like, okay, let's take a bath to kind of defrost. But if I do deco or something, then I don't do it because that affected deco. So if I don't do a deco, just sport dive, then I do it. But I usually be very conservative with my NDL and the settings on my computer, by the way. But anyway, so that really defrosted me underwater. And the thing is, when when I was at the latest dive, it was again like 40-50 meters. I mean 40-50 minutes. We were very shallow, but I was getting like my fingers. They were getting really cold. I was warm here. My lips was numb, and my finger was getting numb. Now it's really winter. Now it's not too long away from Christmas. So then I start to think, I'm probably gonna buy also the Santi heated gloves because I feel that this is a game changer. I remember 200 grams of Finselet in the beginning. It was just awesome to dive at winter. So just the feeling of I'm doing it at winter was, sufficient motivation to go down even though freezing. But after a year or two, I felt like, okay, let's put down this actual big money on something as unglamorous as the undersuit. But it was so much worth it. It was one of the best pursuits I done. So that made me feel so much more comfortable, and I didn't feel like dive winter, but I want to dive. But then I was like, it's okay. I could be down for a pretty long time as well. And now with this, now it's even comfortable. It's not even cold. And if I have gloves as well, I'm gonna do a preview or a review of the gloves later when I know how they work and when I get them. I'm probably gonna order them today. I'm totally into this heated undergarment. It's so worth it. And as I said with this, a big battery is a good battery because you can have undergarment, gloves or and vest, and you can have it for a long time. So it's better to put out more money since you already pay several $100. If you pay an extra $100 something for get a little bigger, but you get more coverage, because if you buy this from the beginning, either you have super long time with gloves, or you get super long time with vest, or you get vest and gloves or undergarments in total with heated, and you can do that. But if you buy a small battery, you can only limit yourself directly, so you have nothing to grow in. So buy the big battery directly. I think that's way better.